If you haven't done so already, you're going to need to set up your RenderShare account. The RenderShare account is something that all students have access to, and it's just a place where you can store files, but it's required for you to be able to do your rendering at the Renderfarm. So you're going to go to request.rit.edu. This will pop up and you're going to log in using your RIT information. You'll see that mine already has the RenderShare account active, but yours, if it doesn't, go to RenderShare, and then up here there'll be like an activate button or an extend another year. So just click that and it's pretty instantaneous, so that's convenient. You can get more information on rendering and the RenderShare here. And if you have questions, submit a ticket to the help desk and they can help you out. But it should be pretty simple. So once that's set, you're going to want to check to make sure that that's working. So if you go to computer, you'll see that you have two things. You have your RenderShare and the RenderShare W drive. In theory, they're pretty much sort of the same. So this will bring you directly to your RenderShare where you can have all of your stuff. If you click on the W drive, it brings up everyone's RenderShare. So you want to make sure that yours is there. You can just do a search for whatever your name is and go into it. Now, what's super important to remember is that when you're rendering with the Renderfarm, everything has to be from the W drive because Mustard doesn't understand the R drive shortcut, so you just has to be from the W drive. So that's super important. Let's see. Okay, so once you have that all set up, you're going to go to your Maya file. This is my little animation that I'm going to render. You're going to go to your render settings, and you want to just make sure that this is all set up the way you want it to be. So I'm going to render in Mental Ray. We have the ability to render in software or hardware, so whichever works, but I'm going to do Mental Ray. Name your file, pick your image format, make sure that your frame animation thing, that it's named number extension. If you don't have dot extension as the last thing, then you won't actually have an image file, you'll just have like a random file. So whichever one you pick, make sure that it's dot extension. I highly recommend name number extension. Frame padding 4 is good. Your start end frames for however long your animation is. Make sure that you click the right renderable camera. So if you want to render it from the front or side or whatever, your camera that you created, that's fine. Just do renderable camera, make sure it's the right one. Pick your image size, and then you're good to go. So what you need to do is make sure that this file is, and the project that it's set in is in the W drive. Mine's already set, but if it weren't, then what you're going to want to do is, so say I have a project set on the desktop, you're just going to want to make sure that you open up your W drive and you just click and drag your whole project folder, say I was doing this, into the W drive. Okay, so the whole project folder with the scenes and all that should be in your W drive. And mine is. So then you can go to Start menu, type in Mustard. You're going to click on Mustard Console, and this will pop up. This is the program we use to manage the farm. So you go to Connect. All of this is automatically filled in. Just leave it that way. The login is render. The password is render me. All lowercase letters, one word. Just hit connect. This will pop up. Just hit OK. So this is Mustard. This is the Renderfarm basically. You can ignore everything that's up here and pretty much everything that's down here. This is what you want to pay attention to, and this is where you're going to submit your job over here on the right. So the first thing you want to do is change whatever engine you're using. It says Maya Software, but like I said, I was going to use My Mental Ray. So you're going to click Maya MR for My Mental Ray, and then your job name should be your RIT ID tag, whatever letter number combination that is. And the reason for that is it makes it a lot easier for the render wranglers to get a hold of you if something's going wrong, instead of us having to dig through the file. So please do us a favor and put this as your RIT tag. Your job project can be whatever you're animating or whatever your scene name is. Job department, sofa, 3DDD, Medil, whatever it is. So the way we run the farm is a first in, first out sort of thing. So the first job that gets in is going to get all of the nodes that it needs, and then the next job in will get whatever's left, and so on and so forth. So it's all based off of priority. Every priority default should be 99. If you're doing a test render, then it can be priority 100. But other than that, it should be priority 99. Test renders should only be 10 frames, no more than that. So if you're doing anything more than 10 frames, then make sure your job priority is 99. You can ignore those. You want to change this to at least accepts warnings, if not accepts errors, because most files, when you put them in, you're going to have some random little warning that doesn't actually make a difference in your render, but if you have success required, will kill your job. So make sure it accepts warnings. You should be able to leave the exit codes and log errors at default, or you can do skip warnings. If you find that this isn't working for some reason, try skip both. But the render wrangler will also be keeping an eye on that. The notes section is for you to leave the wranglers any sort of notes on what you're rendering. So say it's a thesis and it's super important, you need it done, then you just can type that in and say this is a thesis, you know, high priority. You'll also find that if there's something going wrong with your job, the wrangler will leave notes for you in this section. So if you log on to the farm and you're like, why is my job still going, or why is it paused? You know, click on it, it will pop up over here, and you can look at the notes section, and then there may be a note here saying, oh, you know, you're trying to render from the R drive, so it's not working, or whatever it is. So keep an eye on the notes section. This is all default. You can leave it the way it is. Packet size for maximum instances is 0. Packet size is basically the number of frames that are being sent to each computer. So if you have a really heavy render where each frame is taking like 20-30 minutes, you may want to drop your packet size to 2 instead of 4. There's a render timeout of, I think it's 6 hours. So if that one chunk takes longer than 6 hours to render, then it won't render, it will kill the job. So make sure that that's not going to happen. Maximum instances should stay at 0. Unless you know that you have something that's going to take forever and it's not like due right away, then you can set your max instances to like 30 or something, and then what that will do is allow you to have up to 30 computers working on your renders, but allow other computers like to be free to be used by other people rendering. But for the most part, you can just leave it at 0, and the wranglers will keep an eye on that. So if they notice that someone's job is just taking all the computers for, you know, like weeks on end, then they'll change their max instances. So this is where you're going to put your file information in. You'll go to this little ... button, and you're going to go to your render share. And remember, you want to go to the W drive. So the easiest way to do that is to create a shortcut to the W drive right on your desktop instead of having to go to computer, render share, oops, and then, you know, find your thing. Sometimes that can take a while. So if you just make a shortcut, it's easier. But make sure it's a W. Go to your project, wherever you've saved it, scenes, pick your Maya file, open. You'll notice your project directory is already set. They're both W. That's the most important. If it's anything other than W, it won't work. And then this is where you just kind of copy your Maya settings. So I'm rendering frame 1 to 40, by frame 1, numbered by 1, set by 1, with a frame padding of 4. And what you can do too, if you're like, I'm not sure what one of these things, what these sections are, if you hover your mouse over the name, it tells you exactly what each section is. So that's pretty helpful. You can ignore the rest of that. So your job is done being set up here. So when this is all filled out and ready to go, just hit submit, and you'll notice the job comes up here and starts rendering. When this little circle is green, it's idle, it's waiting. If it's red, it's rendering. If there's a check mark, that means it's completed. If there's anything else there, it's just probably a warning or something didn't go right, or that's something that the Wrangler takes care of, so you don't need to worry about that. If you double click on your job, you can open up and sort of see the chunks. So I have 10 different chunks because I have 4 frame packets, so that's 40 frames. You can see I have like warnings popping up here. But everything else gives you information like what computer is rendering, which of your chunks, when it started, when it ended, how long it took, what the warning was, that sort of stuff. And this is stuff that the Wrangler will keep track of, but if you want to look at it, you can too. So once your thing is completed, you'll see this will say completed, there'll be a green check mark, and the Wrangler will move it to the completed folder. So if you come back to look at your farm and or to look at your job's not here, it's most likely been finished, so it'll be in the completed folder. Once you submit your job, you don't have to sit with muster open. You can go take a nap at home for whatever you want to do. You can close out, and because it's running off other computers, so it doesn't matter. So then to find your image files, you just go back to your W drive, to the project images, and there are my 40 frames right there. And then you can take those into whatever editing program you want to create your animation. So it's pretty simple to do. If you ever have any issues with it, you can go to the CIS help desk. Which is right here, and you can log in. And you can see I've put in tickets, but you just open a new ticket, and then there's a Renderfarm, muster Renderfarm, and then you just put in the information, and you can type in whatever your question is, or if you notice an issue, type that in, and that will get sent out to tech so they can help get everything working again, or they'll get a hold of the Wranglers, and the Wranglers can get it working. There's a Wrangler working from 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. I believe it is. So they're always around. If they're not in 1212 in Gannett, that they're probably in the 3D World Lab down in the basement of Gannett. So you can find us there if you have questions. And that sums it up. So good luck with your rendering.